People of Gauteng, we call upon everyone, let's celebrate this day. This is our day. This is a day that we should ensure we don't only celebrate it today, but we'll celebrate it forever. Let the celebrations begin. Thank you.
Oi, oi, panya panya, oi, oi. Oi, oi, Rama Rama, oi, oi. Yeah, no, I took you by surprise, President. We didn't know, you didn't know that we were going to say Rama Rama. We heard you saying that, giving yourself that name. So, Rai Afe Makajenu. Once again, oi, oi, Rama Rama, oi, oi. One stress, I don't know. I can't nickname me how Minister Lamola, but good morning, Minister Lamola. Oi, oi, Minister Lamola, oi, oi. Oi, oi, is good enough, oi, oi. Askis, I had to do that. You are beloved President. People love you, so we have to do that. So on a serious note, my name is Runagani Musupye. I'm a program director, Minister Zizigodwa. I'm the MEC for Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation in Gauteng. And I would like to acknowledge in our presence our President Cyril Ramaphosa, the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Mr. Zizigodwa, the Premier of Gauteng, Mr. Panyaza Lisufi, the representative of the Mayor in Tshwane, Deputy Mayor Dr. Nasipi Moya. I also want to acknowledge in our presence again, I started with the panel, but I would like to also acknowledge in our presence the Deputy President, Mr. Paul Mashatile, the former President, Mr. Thabo Mbeki, the Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Lichesa Tsonedi. I would also want to acknowledge all of our ministers. Please bear with me, all of them are here. I'm not necessarily going to be calling them by name, but all of them are here. The deputy ministers also who are here with us. I've acknowledged the Premier. I'd also like to acknowledge amongst us the National Police Commissioner with his entourage, the Defense Lieutenant General Talia, and the entourage, the National Chairperson of House of Traditional Leaders, Inkosi Mzimela, Deputy Chairperson of House of Traditional Leaders, Morena Mupedi, Kings and Queens, and Kingships and Queenships, members of the provincial, the country, the leadership of faith-based organization, leaders of business that are here with us. I'm also not going to be calling them by name. I have a list of 20 here. SASCOC ambassadors, MECs, HODs, all members of the diplomatic corps. President, I have here about 15 countries. Please, I beg your indulgence that I don't call all the countries. Yeah, there's 15 in the official list, and I have an additional. With the program, I'm now going to allow Banabarunaba that are to my left now to proceed with the item that they are supposed to render for us. Please, with your guidance, allow the children to do what they're supposed to do.
The preamble of the Constitution of South Africa. We, the people of South Africa, recognize the injustices of our past, honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land, respect those who have worked to build and develop our country.
Begodu bakholwa bona iSewula Afrika ingeyabo bonke abahlala kiyo. Sibambene ngokwahlukahlukana kwethu, ngokujanyelwa abajameli bethu abakhethwe ngokuchapulukileko. Samukela umthetho sisekelo lo democracy. Busiamisi jwa batho le ditshwanelo tse di botlhokwa tsa botho. A tlhome metheo ya democracy le setšhaba se se gololesegileng mo puso e theilweng ka thato ya batho ebile moagi mongwe le mongwe a sireleditswe ka go lekana ke molao.
Senza ngcono izinga lokuphila. Senza ngcono izinga lokuphila lazo zonke izakhamuzi. Futhi senza ngcono izinga lokuphila lazo zonke izakhamuzi. Futhi sikhulula abantu kwabangakwenza. Sakha iningizimu Afrika ebumbene yentando yeningi ekwazi ukuthatha indawo yayo efanele njengombuso ozimele emkhakheni yamazwe.
May God protect our people. Nkosi sikeleli Afrika. Morena bolonga setjhaba sa heso. God save Africa. God bless South Africa. Modimo fatošetsa Africa. Hosi katekisa Africa.
In all our national events, Mr. President, Deputy President, and former President Thabo Mbeki, we do allow the learners from different schools to read the preamble of the Constitution of the Republic, which is that supreme law that commits us to a country. 3 of them to come one by one on stage. They are right behind me. The first one, Mama Yvonne Chaka Chaka, Umkomboti.
Our President, dignitaries here present, this is our country, this is South Africa. We stand here today being proud South Africans because those who died and those who went to jail shared their lives. 30 years or even 40 years ago, we would not be converging here. But today, we are here. South Africa, our beautiful land, we love you. Now, to those who were born after 1994, you would not have been here today. Somebody would have told you, I give you 5 minutes to leave. So let us, President, it hurts me when I hear young people say, I've got a degree, but I don't have a job. It hurts me when I hear people say things were better during apartheid. It was nothing better because you were a non-entity. We did not know how to vote, but today we can vote for the government that has to look for us. Mr. President, when we say people shall govern, let the people govern. Amandla, South Africa, we love you. Let us love our South Africa. Let us pray for our leaders. Let us make sure that a young girl can walk in the street and no one would look at her and say that is an object of desire. Let us go back ebuntwini bethu. Siyayithanda in South Africa. I have only one passport. And this is my country, and would like all the other people to come and invest in South Africa. This is South Africa. This is our land. We love you.
Good morning. Hello! All right, thank you so much. Thank you. All right, good day everybody. My name is Clement Maosa, and I just want to greet everyone who's here and the President, all protocol observed. If you can allow me, can I please speak to the youth? Isn't it beautiful though? I'm just going to share a little bit of my story for 2 seconds. I grew up as a villager from the dusty streets of Snobarwana, Bochum in Limpopo. And I've lost both my mom and dad at a very young age. But I've always known that I wanted to be an actor. And today I'm grateful because of the 30 years of freedom that I'm able to show my talent and also to perform every time I go on stage and show my creativity. So I'm very happy for everyone who's here. I say we know that we've got a lot that we still have to, sort out. But today let's just take this moment and celebrate this freedom, because we know that if it wasn't for freedom, I wouldn't be allowed to be known like you guys know me. I wouldn't be on TV for so long. But because of freedom, today we are able to do what we are passionate about. So Amanda! Thank you so much.
Also, I'm an activist for persons with disabilities, and today I just want to say that I got a new name, Tintswalo. So Tintswalo is because, I just want to explain this, because I'm 30 years in, and I'm also celebrating 30 years of democracy, and that on its own, just me knowing or reading about the struggles and the history, it says to me that I've been given an opportunity to be where I am, to go and study, and to can be able to showcase my talents, and also share my love with everyone. So I just want to say I'm grateful, and let's celebrate this beautiful day. Thank you very much.
Can we give Abo Tintswalo just one more round of applause, please? So thank you very much. So as we reflect on the past 3 decades, we cannot overlook the immense sacrifices and struggles endured by countless South Africans in the pursuit of freedom, the pursuit of equality and justice. From the heroes and heroines of our liberation struggle to the ordinary citizens of our country, we stood up against oppression, and each and every one played a vital role in shaping the destiny of our nation. So allow me to invite Minister Lamula to come and give his message of support. Minister?
Yeah, thank you very much. You can see that this Tintswalo is very tall. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Paul Mashatile, members of the judiciary who are here today, Minister Zizi Kodwa and all my cabinet colleagues and deputy ministers who are present, the Speaker of National Assembly, the House Chair Committees, members of the National Assembly and of the Provincial Assembly here in Gauteng, the Premier of Gauteng, Mr. Panyaza Lesufi, ambassadors and members of the diplomatic corps, heads of Chapter 9 institutions who are present today, traditional leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. In 1994, I was a 10-year-old boy who watched my parents go to vote with glee and joy in a TSB farm in Komatipoort, the then Eastern Transvaal, today in Mpumalanga province. I also saw in the news long queues of people ushering in our new freedom when they were voting. We could not play nor attend the same schools with the kids, white kids in the farm, nor could we have the same dreams of being engineers, astronauts, or even being mere lawyers. Today I stand here before you as an LLB graduate of the Investor Vendor who was funded by the National Financial Aid Scheme. Our country's biggest breaker of generational poverty. I speak with conviction today when I say I'm a Tintswalo, and every household in this country has a Tintswalo. The freedom made the dreams of many black kids like myself possible to be whoever we wanted to be. Engineers, astronauts, pilots, the sky is the limit. Freedom came through blood and sweat of our struggle heroes. Freedom seemed like a pipe dream. On this day 30 years ago, a new dawn of hope was ushered in through the first democratic elections. Freedom connected us with our roots, hence the confident declaration by former President Mbeki that I am an African. Freedom reconnected us with constitutional democracies across the globe, hence a declaration by our current president that the Constitution is against injustices anywhere in the world. We therefore could not have resolved all the challenges created in 300 years of our colonial rule in 30 years, but we have laid a solid foundation to build a better life for all. We now have the freedom to love whoever we want to love. We now have the freedom to go wherever we want to go. We now have the freedom to study whatever we want to study. We now have the freedom of trade. Some of these freedoms that are taken for granted today were only reserved for white only before 1994. This freedom came as a sacrifice, and indeed we must celebrate it. We have got a responsibility as a country to continue to fight against injustice anywhere in the world. Former President Mandela said this, and I quote, "For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances freedoms for others." This is what drives us to fight against injustices in Palestine, in Western Sahara, in Cuba, and in many parts of the world, including our own African continent. In our country, the appreciation of our freedom has seen growth in electoral participation, and uncensored voices and space of civil society has been maintained and should be commended as progress. In other countries, during elections, you are not allowed to criticize the sitting government. But in our country, you can criticize anything. Our freedom enables you to do that. But we must ensure that that comes with responsibility, and critique is backed by evidence and facts. And we should also ensure that the polls that are coming now are also credible, they are also non-partisan, but are aimed to enhance and help our democracy. Democratic participation should therefore be embraced and enforced by all citizens. We must all go and vote on the 29th of May to build on our transformatory journey of our freedom. 30 years of our democracy. The last 30 years has laid a foundation for us to build from. May the next 30 years in our lifetime and that of our children be that of equal enjoyment and of economic and social and political freedom. I thank you.
Happy 30th birthday, South Africa. Happy 30th. Happy birthday, South Africa. Happy birthday. Thank you very much to the Chief Tintswalo. Mr. President, before I introduce you, as part of telling a story of 30 years, we had requested people from the creative and cultural sector to put together a musical journey of how music from bubblegum to kwaito up to Mapiano has contributed to the nation through social cohesion and nation building. This we asked DJ Maporisa to put together this project. Today we will see just the start. It's going to be a project of 12 months as we celebrate 30 years. He has put together a number of artists from different generations, from Kondrizi Kubu to Mama Yvonne to Kwaito Trompis to now Amapiano. But before we do that, Mr. President, I would like to invite on stage Tandeka, known as PJ Powers, to render one item. Tandeka.
so small. Jabulani. Jabulani. The people sing and Jabulani. There's always just a chance. Jabulani. For you to find romance. Jabulani. Okay, follow me. So you can sing and dance and love and feel. Jabulani. Yes, you can sing and dance and love and feel. Jabulani. One more time. Yes, here. I said you can sing and dance and love and feel. Jabulani. Yes, you can sing and dance and love and feel. Jabulani. Hello, everyone. What do you think about this? 30 years, okay? I mean, really, it's fantastic. I think it's a day to be celebrated. We've got lots to do, but my goodness gracious me, we have done a lot. That can't be denied. And all I want to say is thank you, Siyabonga kakhulu. Please, for the love and the generosity of spirit and the kindness and the joy Black South Africa has given me for 40 years of a career and 30 years of freedom and democracy. Siyabonga kakhulu. Kelabo. I thank you very much, and I'm going to sing a song that you know, but I've changed the lyric a little bit, so let's go. I sing this because I believe it in my heart.
To be strong and to love one another. Oh, please help us to be brave and to love one another.
Please believe me when I say we have to love each other more than before. With each new day we have a chance to share this land we love with one and with all. There is a road to harmony, a paradise that's filled with truth and dignity. There is an answer and we'll find a way. Together you and me will all live peacefully. Sing it. There is an answer. We'll find a way. Together we can build this nation again. There is an answer. We'll find a way. Help us to put the past behind us. Oh, please help us to be strong and to love one another. Oh, please help us to be brave and to love one another. Oh, please help us to be strong and to love one another. Oh, please help us to be brave and to love one another. There is an answer. We'll find a way. Help us to put the past behind us. There is an answer. We'll find a way. Help us to put the past behind us. There is an answer. We'll find a way. Help us to put the past behind us. There is an answer. We'll find a way. Together we can build this nation again. Thank you very much. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. I love you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thandeka. Thank you very much for continuing to be an inspiration to the nation. In the early years, Mr. President, when there was a lot of uncertainty from subsections of our community about the new nation we are building, we saw a young lady in the name of PJ Thandeka, PJ Powers, who inspired the nation and gave hope. It is through her music that today we are celebrating the role of music in building a country of our dream. For those who have lived under apartheid, the defeat of apartheid on its own, Mr. President, is a reason to celebrate. Most black people were not recognized as citizens, and were not allowed in Pretoria except to be in prison, in central prison in Pretoria, or what is now known Kgosimampuru, to be executed. When we were talking to young people last night, as part of our activations in and around Pretoria, we were celebrating and reminding them that indeed they must celebrate that they were in Pretoria in the evening. Because 30 years ago, as a black person to be in Pretoria was a crime, and the way we gathered in numbers as we do now, you could expect a certain Mr. Van Tonder or certain Mr. Kukemur to come and say, I give you 5 minutes to disperse. More than 30 years ago, Mr. President, Deputy President and President Mbeki, we sang songs about Oliver Tambo Siaya Epitoli, because we knew Pretoria was a seat of oppression. 30 years on, we gather at the South Lawns of Pretoria to celebrate freedom and democracy. Over the past 30 years, Mr. President, we have built a nation. We built a new country with one national anthem, a country with one flag. A nation of South Africa did not exist before 1994, Mr. President. We did not have something called a nation. Those who romanticize apartheid argue that life was better under apartheid. But what they really mean by this, Mr. President, is that life was easier for an oppressive minority. The infrastructure, the economy, the service delivery they use to justify their arguments today were not meant to serve the larger majority of South Africans. In fact, if any, they depended on inequality, poverty, injustice, and cruelty to sustain themselves. Our rights, Mr. President, are now protected under the constitutional democracy. We now have free and fair elections that allow every citizen to participate in a democratic process. I want to thank the people of South Africa. Kitumelishe mahoshi, kitumelishe shabagamuka, by the late Albertina Sisulu in Parliament to elect the first democratically elected president. You seconded that nomination for President Mandela to be the first democratically elected president. I hereby invite you now as the president of a democratically elected president of the Republic. Mr. President.
Amandla. Amandla. Forward with our freedom, forward. Forward with our democracy, forward. Amandla. Let us be seated. Program Director, Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Shipokosa Paul Mashatile, former President of the Republic of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, ministers and deputy ministers, justices of the Constitutional Court and Supreme Court of Appeal, judges, president, and members of the judiciary, premiers, members of parliament, MECs who are here present, representatives of Chapter 9 institutions, traditional leaders of our people, leaders of faith-based and community-based organizations, members of the military command, members of the diplomatic corps, distinguished guests and fellow South Africans. Ke dumedisha batho ba haeso ka moka ne laba ko rungula vanhu va ka hina hinkwavo. Groet al die mense van Suid-Afrika vandag. I greet you all in the name of our 30-year-old government. Nginibingelela nonke enikhona lapha nabo basemakhaya. Molweni. Ndiyanibulisa egameni likahulumeni wethu. Lotshani. Livukile ikusasa elikhulu. Nditama ulumelisa bathu bothe ngadzina la mubuso washu wa Afrika Chipembe. Dumelang. Kgotsong batho kaofela. Exactly 30 years ago, on this day, freedom's bell rang across our great land. The bell of freedom rang in every city, every town, and every village. The bell of freedom could be heard in Musina, in Thohoyandou, in the furthest reaches of the north part of our country, in the vast expanses of the Kalahari, the Karoo, and Richtersveld. It could be heard in Komatipoort, Ermelo, Tsitsikamma, Ulundi, Durban, and Manguzi on the eastern seaboard of our country. It could be heard in Saldanha, Cape Town, and Kleinseer on the western seaboard of our country. The sound of freedom rang in Soweto, in Sharpeville, in Soshanguve, in Everton, Botshabelo, Umlazi, Khayelitsha, Mitchell's Plain, and Mangaung. It also rang in Kliptown. People met in 1955 to draft the Freedom Charter that laid out a clear vision for a new and free South Africa. That freedom bell also rang here at the Union Buildings, a place that had been a symbol of oppression and power for more than 100 years. On that day, as we cast our votes for the first time, a great heaviness lifted from our shoulders. Our shackles had been cast off. The shackles that had tied us down for hundreds of years. The weight of centuries of oppression was no longer holding us down. Even though our backs bore scars of the cruel lashes of those who had whipped and subjected us for more than 300 years, on that day, as a united people, we stood tall as South Africans. We watched as the flag of the new South Africa was hoisted for the first time. On that day, we could proudly claim, as clearly stated by President Thabo Mbeki when we adopted our constitution, that we are Africans. Today, 30 years later, we gather as a united people of all races at the same Union Buildings that once symbolized our pain and our oppression. As we celebrate today, we recall and honor all those who fought for justice, for peace, for freedom in our land. We bow our heads to them in gratitude. We remember the heroes and the heroines whose actions made it possible for us to gather here today as a free people. But we also remember those in other lands who joined our struggle, who too in many ways suffered immensely as they were arrested for demonstrating that South Africa should be free and Nelson Mandela should be released and other prisoners. As they received our compatriots who had been pushed into exile as their countries were bombed by the apartheid regime for merely supporting a just struggle, as their own citizens were maimed and killed in the rampant bombing and attacks that the apartheid government unleashed on our neighboring countries. We thank them and we dip our heads in great gratitude to them as they made the attainment of this day possible 30 years ago. On this day, we fondly remember Nelson Mandela, our first democratically elected president and the father of our democracy. In his memory, we will continue to work tirelessly to achieve the democratic ideals to which he and many other heroes, such as Oliver Reginald Tambo, Walter Sisulu, Mama Albertina Sisulu, many others who suffered. South Africa, our country, changed forever. It signaled a new chapter in the history of our nation, a moment that resonated across Africa and across the world. After casting his first ballot, President Nelson Mandela described that day as the beginning of a new era, moving from pessimism and division to nation building, reconciliation, and hope. The advent of democracy in 1994 ushered in a constitutional order that is premised on equality, freedom, human rights for all. On that day, the dignity of all the people of South Africa was restored. Over the course of 3 centuries, the dignity of the black people of this country had been deliberately and cruelly denied, first by colonialism and then by apartheid. Millions of black South Africans, African, colored, and Indian, were at the mercy of laws and practices that were enforced to serve the interests of a white minority. Their land was taken away, their assets were taken away, their labor was exploited, their prospects were stunted. Running like a malevolent thread through these many forms of oppression was patriarchy, which placed upon black women the greatest burden. Apartheid was an ideology and a system aimed at controlling every aspect of people's lives. It sought to humiliate and to degrade black people. That we have been able to cast off the yoke of oppression and build a new nation rooted in equality, human rights, is amongst the greatest feats and achievements of modern history. The 27th of April, 1994, was a victory for non-racialism, for non-sexism, for human dignity and progress, not just in South Africa, but everywhere. It was a victory for reconciliation. The democratic breakthrough that we achieved was much about liberating South Africans from apartheid, as it was about freeing white South Africans from their prejudice and fear. As President Nelson Mandela said, the system of apartheid robbed both the oppressed and the oppressor alike of their humanity. Before the 27th of April, 1994, many believed that our country would descend into a racial war. Many believed that given how deep the wounds of mistrust were, that we would turn against each other, slaughter each other, kill each other. And yet we did not do so. Together we worked hard and with purpose to bring about a reconciliation between the races in our country. We must never let our spirits be dampened by detractors, whether they be abroad or in our own country, who want to diminish what we achieved in 1994 and in the years that have followed. South Africa's democracy is young. Most of the world's more established democracies are over 100 years old. We are just babies. The progress that has been made in a relatively short period of 30 years is something of which we can and should all be proud. In his great work called Revolution of the Aged, the poet Njabulo Ndebele writes, "It is a blind progeny that acts without indebtedness to the past," close quotes. It is only those who willfully will not see, who shut their eyes to progress, who will deny that South Africa today is an infinitely better place than it was 30 years ago. We have established a society founded on the rule of law and the premise of equality before the law. Our country has changed. Ba rata kapa barati lefatshe lena le fetohile. Naho ba sa zwifuni bangwe elishango lo shanduka na hambi va nga swi lavi tiko leri la hina a ra ha fani na tiko leriya a hi hanya ka rona a hansi ka apartheid. We have built democratic institutions and have read our statute books, our law books of racist and sexist apartheid laws. As the democratic state, we have worked to restore the dignity of all the people of South Africa, particularly the dispossessed, the marginalized, and the vulnerable. Over the past 30 years, we have sought to implement policies and programs that advance equality and human dignity in areas like economic empowerment, education, healthcare, social support, and the provision of basic services. During apartheid, the policies, programs, and services of the state had a strict racial bias and hierarchy. Our task over the last 30 years has been to bridge the huge divides of wealth and opportunity in our country between black and white, between men and women, between urban and rural dwellers. We have done so not only to correct the injustices of the past, but also that we may realize the full potential of an economy in which every person has a stake and in which every person has the opportunity for contribution. Although there have been setbacks, and there have been quite a few, although we have faced challenges both beyond our borders and here at home, our economy has tripled in size since 1994. While unemployment still remains our greatest and most pressing challenge, the number of South Africans in employment increased from 8 million in 1994 to over 16 million now. Through affirmative action, broad-based black economic empowerment, worker share ownership programs, and progressive labor laws, we have brought about transformative change in South Africa's boardrooms and on the shop floor. In South Africa today, more than 500,000 workers are part owners of the companies that they work for. This is about 1 in every 20 workers in the formal economy. The proportion of black people in senior management positions in both government and business has increased many times. We still have a long way to go before we can declare that all South Africans do indeed share in the wealth of their own country. But we have made much progress, and we are determined to do much more. Today, our social development system benefits all, providing vital support to the poor and the vulnerable, women and children. The democratic state has, through its healthcare programs, brought down child mortality, improved life expectancy, and made important strides towards overcoming the HIV/AIDS pandemic. Working together, we have opened doors of learning and culture. We have invested in improving and building new schools, new colleges, and 2 new universities. We have vastly increased the number of matriculants, graduates, and young skilled people. Although we have much further to go, we have worked to ensure that poverty is no barrier to a decent education. We have introduced no-fee schools and a feeding scheme in our schools. We have expanded funding to students from poor and working-class families and are now focused on early childhood development. By working together, we have broken down many of the barriers of race and gender, ensuring that all parts of society better reflect South Africa's diverse population. We see this in our classrooms, in our places of higher learning, in government, in our parliament, in our judiciary, in our security forces, and in our defense force. We see the diversity of South Africa in our sports associations, in our religious groups, in our public spaces and businesses, at our embassies, and on our trade missions. In South Africa today, our Bill of Rights is the foundation for a society that is rooted in equality regardless of race, gender, sex, or sexual orientation. Women in South Africa today enjoy full work together to ensure that women are empowered in the home, in communities, in society, and in the economy. The women of South Africa have stood up for themselves. They have formed representation in positions of responsibility in the state, in academia, in business, in sport, in the culture as well. Close to half of the members of parliament, the judges on our benches and magistrates are women. More than 60% of the public servants in our government are women. In South Africa today, girls learn alongside boys in our primary and schools and receive equal education. Last year, more girls passed the matric exam and got more distinctions than their male counterparts. That is something to be celebrated. There are currently more female students enrolled at institutions of higher learning like our colleges and our universities than males. In working to affirm the dignity of all South Africans, we have recognized the different ways in which people are discriminated against and oppressed. South Africa is a beacon for the protections it affords to the LGBTQAI+ community. Although we have much further to go, we have worked to overcome prejudice that is perpetrated against people with disabilities, people with albinism, and many other people in our country who are vulnerable. We have sought to affirm the rights and improve the circumstances of persons with disabilities. We are still working to remove the barriers that prevent persons with disabilities from realizing their full potential and living lives of comfort, security, and material well-being. Centuries of colonialism and apartheid dispossess black people of their most basic possession, the land. Since the advent of democracy, we have pursued land reform, distributing millions of hectares of land to those who had been forcibly dispossessed and providing security of tenure to many others who had lived on the land of their grandfathers and grandmothers for generations. We have built houses, clinics, hospitals, roads, and constructed bridges, dams, and many other facilities. We have brought electricity, water, and sanitation into millions of South African homes. All those who cast their vote for a better South Africa in 1994 laid the foundation for a democracy that enhanced South Africa's standing. The new South Africa was able to build alliances, to negotiate trade agreements, and participate in international organizations, and to advance the interests of its people in various of these organizations. South Africa is an important voice on the world stage and an active member of the African Union. We are very much a part of our beloved continent, Africa. We continue to pursue a foreign policy that is premised on social justice in pursuit of peace and a just world order, and that advances the African agenda and the agenda for the global South. Fellow South Africans, to those born after 1994, the impact and meaning of our democracy is very different from those who lived during apartheid. And yet, apartheid's legacy and its dark shadow continues to cast on our future and defines the choices and opportunities of so many South Africans. We know that despite our achievements, South Africa remains a highly unequal society. Our people confront every day the apartheid legacy of unemployment, of poverty and underdevelopment. Crime, especially crimes of violence against women and children, are a scourge in our communities. Despite great progress, many households do not have electricity or clean water. There are still many families that go hungry. There is a huge divide between the rich and the poor in our country. We see this divide in access to health care, in access to safe transport, and proximity to services and work opportunities. At times, it seems that these challenges threaten to undermine the achievements we've made over the past 30 years. And yet we know that if we work together, if we harness the same spirit of unity that we did in 1994, we will surely overcome these challenges that confront us. History shows us that by working together in pursuit of a common goal, we will and can succeed. Our journey since 1994 has proved that we are a nation of optimism. We are a resilient nation. We are also a nation that has great hope. We believe in a better tomorrow, and it is within our hands to shape our collective destiny. It is within our hands to rebuild South Africa and make it a place of equal opportunity and shared prosperity, where no one is left behind. At his inauguration here at the Union Buildings on the 10th of May 1994, President Nelson Mandela spoke of the realization of our democratic breakthrough. He said that the sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Let us stand together, united in purpose, to build a future where the promise of freedom rings true for every single South African. Let freedom reign throughout our country. Let freedom reign in all the endeavors that we embark upon in our lives as South Africans. We are a country that is full of promise. We are a country that proved to the world and all that we could overcome what the world thought we would never, racial oppression. We did overcome it, working together as South Africans, we can overcome all the other challenges that face us.
Ramaphosa re o rata kaofela. President Ramaphosa re o rata kaofela. President Ramaphosa re o rata kaofela. I don't want to sing. Mr. President, Deputy President and former President Mbeki, when many of you left your country of your birth, South Africa, because you were not recognized as citizens, many left the country using sports, arts and culture to tell the story and the conditions of the oppressed people. Many of them, they continue to do so now, to fly international stage, to tell a South African story. Through their Iskatamia and Mbube, Lady Smith Black Mambazo continue to shine. I therefore invite Eskam Shengu to come on stage, Lady Smith Black Mambazo. Thank you very much.
She don't try to hide it. Diamonds on the soles of his shoes. She's a poor boy, empty as a pocket with nothing to lose. Sing ta-na-na, ta-na-na. She got diamonds on the soles of his shoes. Awa, awa, ta-na-na, ta-na-na. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Awa, awa, diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Awa, awa, diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Rich girl, diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Awa, awa, diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Hangishiela hanu no matemba. Wangishianga tuna matemba. Okoke, loyang mangalesa. Okoke, loyang mangalesa. Hangi boni tandanga. Ehlele ngaphansi komthunzi loyang mangalisa. Hayibusa, hayibusa kamala, hayipendulanga. Yabeka phansi yaseyakhala izinyembezi. Nomathemba wangishiya. Sele ngedwa unomathemba wami. Nomathemba wangishiya. Sele ngedwa unomathemba wami. Unomathemba wami wangishiya. Sakulile sele ngedwa unomathemba wami. Unomathemba wami wangishiya. Semnambithi sele ngedwa unomathemba. Sele ngedwa unomathemba. Sekulu unomathemba. Asaphalile nencwadi encane. Uya nomathemba. Uya nomathemba. Uya nomathemba. Asaphalile nencwadi encane. Uya nomathemba. Uya nomathemba. Uya nomathemba. Asaphalile nencwadi encane. Uya nomathemba. Amusemnambithi unomathemba. Asaphalile nencwadi encane. Obuya, obuya nomathemba. Wabuya nomathemba, wabuya njani, wabuya nomathemba, wabuya wasando sami sohliwa zintundu
Mama we baba sila le ma we baba sila le ma we baba sila le ma we baba sila le mama we baba sila le ma we homeless moonlight sleeping on the midnight light, and we are homeless, moonlight sleeping on the midnight light, and we are homeless, moonlight sleeping on the midnight light, homeless, moonlight sleeping on the midnight light. Angulela makaza, angulele mina, ikisiyo ya, somanda angulele mina, amakaza, mam kisiyo ya. Somebody sing. Somebody sing, hello, hello, hello. Somebody say. Somebody cry, why? Somebody say. Ito mango, kulumani, kulumani sezwa singenze njani, baya jabula basithanda.
Andagazilu towaziyo uvelenze kwenzeke lilungelunge lakho mngana lilungelunge lakho mngana lilungelunge lakho mngana lilungelunge lakho mngana lilungelunge uhlale kahle lilungelunge mfana wethu lilungelunge uhlale kuNkulunkulu lilungelunge usathane lilungelunge ngcono ubuyele ekhaya lilungelunge mfana wethu lilungelunge lakho mnganami lilungelunge lakho mnganami lilungelunge ethumaqedi imbonombono lilungelunge lakho ubusa lilungelunge ethumaqedi imbonombono lilungelunge sishoboloze lilungelunge kudla sendabi kudla mawa iyakhona lejozi iyakhona kakasi ichechenge hamba qola yomlilo soweduba niphezulu kanje lilungelunge la kudla mawa lilungelunge la pop lilungelunge la kumkhala lilungelunge la kumkhala lilungelunge la pop lilungelunge la kumkhala lilungelunge la kumkhala lilungelunge la lilungelunge la lilungelunge la lilungelunge la pop lilungelunge la kumkhala lilungelunge la kumkhala lilungelunge la kumkhala lilungelunge la kumkhala lilungelunge la Kum sika mama lakho mkhanami isikomkom sika mama isikomkom sika baba isikomkom sensizwa isikomkom sentombi lakho mkhanami lakho mkhanami lakho
Can we give them a big round of applause? In the context of 30 years of democracy, Mr. President, if you listen to their music, it was a response to and a reaction to apartheid oppression. When they sing a song, Homeless, they were homeless in their own country. That's what the song Homeless means. At this stage, I shall now invite Mr. President again to entertain you and the people of South Africa. A collaboration which has been put together by the President of Amapiano, Tulani, directed by DJ Maporisa, and all of them, they're gonna show different musical journey. Can they all come on stage? It's over to you.
We are celebrating 30 years of freedom! 30 years of freedom! Kudala silele ndilele mpumelelo Zazi bona sentola nemkhululeko Asisabi lutho thina siphethe umkhondo Sizowela Asa! 1, 2! Dala nasilwenela impumelelo Zazi nasisentola nemkhululeko Asisabi lutho thina siphethe umkhondo Sizowela Asa! We are a dancing nation. One thing about us as a nation, we like dancing. Ah! We like dancing. Waza! Waza! Asam! Amanda! Amanda!
Si.
Fida.
Eita.
Hola.
Asabe don't rest.
Vuga.
Batini, let's rock.
Waza.
Asabe chill vibes.
Hola.
Asabe live life.
Pila.
Batini location.
Issue. What's up?
Batini location. Asabe sirup. Batini sirup. Amisa sirup. Asabe ni location. Which one is this one? Assam every day, location.
Sila.
Ebatini location. Assam sirup. Assam sirup. Assam location. Batin, oh lo.
Which one is this one?
Amis, oh lo. Ebatini, wena. Ebatini, wena. Say what's going on? My name is Robot Boy. But you guys can call me Robot. Assam Belinda, salary. Which one is this one now?
It's not the normal
Wait, Thailand. We Railang. Wait, Thailand. We Railang. Ebatin.
Issue.
Salar.
Which one is this one?
Issue.
Salar. Show, twana kima yokimali salar. Iwa na masushunga sabi wasam. Baba na makita nengani ne wacho. Kogo da biyane kwa aruma wa. Ume na makita ne sami wajan. Kaka tema tuni no nanu kumdan. Kete na matana ne kabe ya. Kogo da biyane ne kwa aruma wa. Asam. Assam, Ebatin, Assam, they say one. Sure. Hey, 7 20 salary. No put to pani salary. No about to wear 40 salary. No about 40 salary, gaban. Abanye one money salary. When I value 20 salary. Paga me 60 salary, ne man. The Filipino up in the mali salary. Pero ma pete na bato. Club Tony la. Pavela na ma. Uwete na mayi. Bueno mami. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Roboto. Roboto. Kali pakari. Spuna le mali. Give me salary. Roboto. Kali pakari. Spuna le mali. Give me salary. Roboto. Kali pakari. Spuna le mali. Give me salary. Roboto. Kali pakari. Spuna le mali. Can you feel it? Oh, can you feel it? Batin, where Thailand? We Thailand. Where Thailand? Batin, ayebo.
Mashushu masabi wasabi Amana matita negani nemani Ogo te fiane ne kwaru mawa Umena matita ne zami wadani Ogo te matini no dandi kundani Kwete na vatana ne kavi e yapi Ogo te fiane ne kwaru mawa Osa Salare, salare roboto Bakari Spona le mali Liwe salare